Our pathway starts, we have two kind of playing pathways in Munster. There's a clubs pathway and a schools pathway. So, at the end of the under 15s year in clubs and schools, we would we're scouting all the time obviously ourselves, but we look for recommendations from coaches from the clubs and schools. And as mentioned before, we over that end of the under 15s year from Easter probably to May, we hold a massive amount of trials and screening days to try and get our best 40 or 50 players from each pathway, clubs and schools, into our system. Those players then go into an extensive development programme over the summer based in Cork, Limerick and the regions, and we're all the time trying to develop those players through two pathways, clubs and schools, to the next level. So starting under 16s development squad, 17s development squad, into our under 18s provincial campaigns, under 19s, and then into our sub academy and academy. What we found is that the harder we look, as in the harder we try and refine that squad, the better results we get. So if we can really look hard at 15's year to try and refine out those players, we'll find a lot of good players, but we need to work hard with those in a narrow group. We've also found that we can't close the door under 15, 16, 17s level, because players will continue to come back in. There's a competition in clubland now. There's obviously our schools cup competitions, which have always been there. Both of those competitions are vehicles for players to be seen, to be noticed, and to come back into our pathway. So we select at end of 15s level, but the doors really never close, and all the way along the line. And some of our players never played Munster schools, for example. Shane Daly being a perfect example. Never played Munster schools, was picked for Munster 19s, and is now playing for the Irish 7. So the door is always open, and we're always looking, but the pathway starts at 15s and works the whole way up. Our identification process, as mentioned, starts under 15 level. Really, we're through McCarthy Cup and under 15, under 16 competitions in the clubs. We monitor closely. Our coach and player development officers, their job is to identify players and develop in that development squad. We also have a national talent coach, Mark Butler, whose job is to lead that talent identification programme, along with Keith Murphy, the coach development manager. So we have a lot of staff on the ground looking to ID, first of all, to screen and develop those players. We use our Munster Talent Camp, which are one of the only provinces to bring in our players on a residential basis at under 18, 19s level over the course of the summer to really refine and develop those players. So they come in here in UL for probably 6 weeks of the summer, and they're kept overnight, and we put a massive amount of resource and time into those players to develop them. So we're doing things slightly different from other provinces, and the reason is because we've a unique set of circumstances in Munster. We want to do it our way to develop these players to the best of our ability and their ability. So we work very closely with our coach development officers and our player development coaches throughout the province. So we obviously have a regional development system, north, south, east and west, and we work continually to refine that. Our coach and player development officers over the last 3 weeks, especially over the Easter time frame, have conducted a massive screening process at under 15, 16 and 17s level to find the best players in all those counties throughout the province, to develop those players as best we can. We have probably really looked at in the last 2 or 3 years, focusing on can we pick our best potential players out of those groups to give those players the best potential chance. What we have found is if we have kept a wide group in the west and a wide group in the south, that those gems in those groups maybe haven't developed to their full potential. So what we're focused on is finding those gems, supporting them at a way more detailed level, and hopefully to bring them through. And I think what we're finding is slowly the number of players coming in from West Cork, from Waterford, from Kerry, Tipperary is coming up year by year, and we think over the next few years there will be a continued number of players from those outreaches as a province basically coming into our academy system. I think it's a good year. Yeah, I think 3 players going up. We think are 3 very good players who've contributed already at Pro 14 level for Munster, and I think we'll make a big contribution. There is players leaving in the middle of their academy period, and that's never a nice thing. And some of those players are very, very good players, but unfortunately for us, we don't feel at this stage they'll step into the Munster jersey in the next year or 2 years, and that's our key criteria for whether a player moves from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 of the academy. And there was some players who worked very hard, but unfortunately I'm not doing my job if I progress players from year 1 to year 2 if we feel that potential isn't there. So we had a few hard chats, and we wish those players the best of luck and supporting them, but at the moment we've made a judgment and we have to stick by it. I think these things are sometimes cyclical, but we would definitely be aware and track closely the number of players that get selected for a national 20 squad. In saying that, that's not a definitive marker of who will progress to professional rugby. We've had years where we've had probably 7 or 8 in a national squad, and we probably have a low follow through into professional rugby 2 or 3 years later. So Jack has been our standout under 20s player. There is a few others we feel have progressed nicely through that under 20s campaign, and I'd be pretty confident that of this year we'll probably have 3 or 4 players next season in our academy from that 20 squad, and hopefully a few to progress to professional rugby. Is it something we keep a track on? Yes. Is it something that we change the whole programme for because we have a certain number in our 20s programme? No. But we're always reviewing and looking at what we do underneath that 20s layer every year.